Let me ask you a question. You have the idea of your great TV show that you have been spending years working on. All your preparations are done. All of your concerns are behind you. And now you're on your way to making your dream show a reality. So now, what do? I mean, when it comes to Western versus Japanese animation, then you will have a depressingly different story. If you're talking Western animation, then well, unless you already have years of experience in working with this industry, then it's almost impossible. In the West, especially at studios like Cartoon Network, Netflix Animation, Disney and the Bunch, industry connection or reputation are often more than recommended. They are necessary. They are everything. Pitches from complete outsiders rarely get taken seriously unless they're represented by an agent or have someone to vouch for them. If you're a complete unknown in this market, then it does not matter how talented you are. In Western animation, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson have a higher chance of getting his fanfiction on the air than you are or any actual artist who actually knows what they're doing of getting a shot at it. If you want an example, then I don't know, we can go through a lightning round real quick. Greg McCracken and his work on the Powerpuff Girls. Before that, he was not just some person who came just to make his show out of nowhere. He was an intern and later an art director at Cartoon Network and Dexter's Laboratory. And he was also the legendary Genndy Tartakovsky's classmate and collaborator, which, if nothing else, it certainly did not hurt. Also, if that wasn't enough, it's not like the Powerpuff Girls was finished or was pitched like that. It was originally a student short that was picked up after he was already working at CN. Speaking of Genndy Tartakovsky and his long line of shows like Dexter's Laboratory, Samurai Jack and Hotel Transformania, and so on and so forth. Before Dexter, he was working on Two Stupid Dogs, and he was also part of the in-studio networking of young animators CN hired in the early 90s. And, just like Powerpuff Girls before it, Dexter was firstly developed as a short under the CN Hanna-Barbera What a Cartoon program while he was already in the studio system. And, just like many before him and after him, Genndy Tartakovsky's many shows have paved the way for a lot of animators to come to use that same credit to make their own shows. For another example, okay, I'm gonna completely butcher that name, but whatever. Rob Renzetti, the creator of My Life as a Teenage Robot, whatever. Before his work on this show, he worked on Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls, Samurai Jack, and are you starting to see the pattern here? His show was picked up at Nickelodeon after years and years of already being an established animator. And for a more famous example, Seth MacFarlane and his work on Family Guy, he did not just come out with a show out of nowhere. Before this show, he was a writer and a storyboard artist at Hanna-Barbera and Johnny Bravo. Also some Cow and Chicken and Dexter's Laboratory. Now that I'm thinking about it, same things kinda happened with Flapjack and Adventure Time, but that's not the point. Back to Family Guy, it's not like Seth MacFarlane's idea was finalized to begin with at this point. His show was called Larry and Steve, and that was the proto-Family Guy short. And just like the ones before him, it was made while he was already in the studio system. HBO did not just go to Rebecca Sugar and saw her lesbian rocks idea and said, yes! They saw someone that they already knew and said, yes. And this type of thing does not start nor end at industry experience. It just has to be a name that's well known enough so that the studio does not get too scared that no one would care. Take every single celebrity-driven show for an example. I don't know, if it's for Family or that one Odd Ones Out show from years back. The size of the creator's name will always trump the greatness of their ideas. And that usually comes out of two very important reasons. The first one we already discussed, that being the studio's fear of an unknown name, because it would not allow them to put a fancy title like made by Hideo Kojima and whatnot. But the other less talked about reason comes from the one rule that ends 90% of all pitches before an actual human being can even get a chance to hear them. And we call that the cold submission grave. Cold submissions tend to refer to any pitch that was made by a complete nobody in the industry. Someone that has an idea and wants that idea to be heard, but it's also one with nothing back in it but the idea's own strength. In other words, no agents, no connections, or a formal request. These are the people that aren't known enough to be getting a meeting with the almighty executive producers, and so they get blacklisted to hell and beyond. It does not matter how good your idea is. If it does not have a big name back in it, then it's already dead before it even got started. So, your only option becomes a cold submission. Here's how that works. If you, a random outsider, emailed Cartoon Network, Disney, Netflix, or Fox with your cartoon idea or script, then they would be considering that an unlisted or cold submission. Similarly, mailing a show bible or DMing a development executive on social media with a pitch will also count as cold submission. And then, the first thing that will go to the mind of any executive reading their idea would not be, what is this? Or how good is this? No, it would be, oh, is reading this gonna get me into trouble? Yeah, I think it'll get me into trouble. Better just delete it, I guess. If you're unknown, like completely unknown, then one of two things will happen. Delete the email or return the package unopened, or reply with a legal disclaimer saying they did not open nor will they accept it. And this dark abyss of nothingness is the sad truth of getting an animation off the ground. It's never about the quality of the story, but about the person making it. And sadly, it seems nothing's ever gonna change that. Well, that's if you're talking about Western animation, at least. Okay. Not to waste your time too much with this one. If you've watched this long, maybe I can assume that you like what you see. A subscribe and a like is all you have to do to show me that I'm doing something right in here. Okay, good. Thanks. Back to the video. Okay, so before I start this, let me make this absolutely clear. Japanese animation isn't perfect. Honestly, in most cases, it's even worse when it comes to the treatment of its animators. Like hell, the Demon Slayer movie just made a fortune, and Ufotable is only getting 10% of that money, even though they're the one making the damn thing. But when it comes to only and exclusively talking about getting your show off the ground, then it's unmatched. Here's how it goes. While Western animation works by a pitch system that'll only give the time of day to those who they already know, Japanese animation does not care. You come as a complete unknown, submit your one-shot idea to a manga company of your choosing, and then, if your story was good enough, then it'll be turned into a manga. Then if that manga was good enough, then it'll be turned into an anime. It's a little more complicated than that, but at the heart of it all, it proves, it shows that even a complete unknown teenager, wherever, can get his story off the ground. Can you see the difference here? While in the West, your ability to make your own show comes exclusively from your own reputation, here in Japan, that part does not matter not one bit. It's just one simple, honest question. Did people like your story? If yes, then it's on. If no, then it's not. Simple as that. It's about the art and its quality, not the artist and their name. And it even gets better when you factor in the industry's feelings about pitches. Manga publishers in Japanese actively invite submissions. Unlike Western studios, Japanese publishers actually do want people to send in their works, even total outsiders. Major publishers like Shueisha and Square Enix have public submission systems, including contests and direct manuscript mail-ins. Anyone, even teenagers, can submit a one-shot to a manga draft to a magazine like Weekly Shonen Jump or Monthly Afternoon. Editors, actual human beings, will be reading your work, and then if they like them, they will contact the creator directly, give them feedback, or even better, sometimes offering development opportunities. There isn't any arbitrary walls, most of the time, that stop you from submitting an idea. It's just all about getting your idea off the ground, not the fear of taking a risk. And that is part of the big reason why Japanese animation have such a wide variety of content. You'll find the weirdest, only the weirdest type of shit in Japan, because Japan does not work by a reputation-based system. It works by a story-based system. And it's made simple enough that even, and I keep repeating this, teenagers can just do it. All you have to do is to impress, not have a reputation. And if you did impress, if you got your work liked enough, then they might publish it as a one-shot, pair it with an editor to develop it further, enter it in the radar pool to test its popularity. If it performs well, it might be even serialized as a weekly or monthly manga. And this is not one or two against some of the most legendary people in the industry. I'm talking Hajime Sayama or Ichiro mother brother Oda have gotten their start like this. All of these mangakas all started as unknown teenagers or in their young adult lives, and all they had to do was win a contest and impress their editors. They weren't people with any type of status. You don't need personal connections, just skill and radar appeal are all what matters. And this right here is why Western animation will never surpass Japanese-made anime. Not until the art itself gets more weight than the artist who's making it. Okay, thank you for watching. Like if you loved this video, subscribe if you want to see more, comment if you agree or disagree, and what's up, out!